Redline Logbook here for Danmachi Skills Part 5. And we start off with one of Cassandra's skills. And unfortunately, we know nothing about it, not even its name. Yeah, Miak refers to it as 5-dimension Troya, but that's just a name he came up with because he can't read it. Because it's not written in hieroglyphs or any language that is known to the gods, which should be literally every language. As a result, he cannot read the name, nor does he know what the skill does. Most likely, it will be an important skill that will help take down the one-eyed black dragon. But for now, as of the recording of this video, it is unknown. Okay, the second skill we're going to talk about is Ilios Passion. This skill belongs to Daphne. What it does, it increases her speed somewhat. And when I say somewhat, I mean it is actually quite an impressive skill, because we only get to see her use it twice. But the main time we get to see her is the first time, when they're currently fighting the Antofina. When this happens, she's given a level boost by Haruhime from a level 2 to level 3, and then she activates this skill to increase her speed. When this happens, she becomes the second fastest member of their party. Only Belle is faster, who's a level 4. And yes, she's even faster than another level 4, who is part of their party, Aisha. And this is important because after defeating the Antofina, Daphne of course leveled up to a level 3, so instead of being a pseudo level 3 because of the level boost, she now is a real one. So that means with this skill, she has the speed of a level 4. Ilios Passion also gives her the development ability Escape. Escape is a development ability you can only get at level 4, but obviously Cassandra now has it because of a skill, so it doesn't apply to her. And what it does is it increases your speed when you're running away, which means she has a second speed boost on top of her first speed boost, but only when she's running away. Our next skill is Luris Wrath, also one of Daphne's. This one is vastly superior to her first one, because this increases her defense by an insane margin. Whenever Daphne takes damage, that part of her body then starts to turn into wood, and if she bleeds, her blood turns into sap, and this actually basically stops the wound from being fatal. Not just that, but it also partially resists the damage from the blow. The two downsides is that it slowly hinders her movement because she's slowly turning into a tree, and 2, because it takes time to wear off for her skin to go back to normal, it feels very hard and crusty, and as a woman she doesn't like that. But the defensive abilities of this skill are absurd. She used this skill against Hagni during the war game, and Hagni's a level 6. Now, Daphne was also level boosted to a level 4 at this point, but still, that is a 2-level difference. He should have been able to one-shot her like he did everyone else on that battlefield, but he couldn't. He cut her and cut her and cut her, and she just kept standing. He cut her to a point where she was more tree than human, and Hagni even feared killing her if she didn't just surrender at that point. Outside of Otter and Garth, it's probably the strongest defensive skill in Aurorio. And as I've said many times, skills are based on an individual's personality, and if you notice, both of Daphne's skills involve her avoiding getting hurt as much as possible, because Daphne, while she's still a brave adventurer, I mean, she made it all the way up to a level 3 after all, she is somewhat of a coward and would rather run away so she can live another day and figure out how to win next time than go for the all or nothing right at this moment like Belle likes to do. Our next skill belongs to Lily, Command Call. This skill allows Lily to give out orders on a battlefield at long distances with just her voice. The more intense the battlefield, the further her voice can reach. Now, only certain people can actually hear her, and those are people who share the same fauna as her, so the rest of the Hestia Familia. And even at its weakest, its range is quite impressive, because in the war game with the Freya Familia, pretty much both armies had been annihilated at this point, and there was nothing left. Just a few scragglers who were the commanders, like Lily. She was calling out for help for Belle because he was currently being chased down by the fastest member of the Freya Familia, Alan. And so Belle needed help. Once again, the battlefield is basically dead, so there's no noise. So this would be when her skill is at its weakest. And so when she was screaming for someone to help Belle, the person that hurt her was Welf, who was all the way across the battlefield, lying in his own blood, at a distance that only an oculist would allow this communication to be possible, but Lily did it. Welf was able to hear her, hear the direction in which she was ordering people to go, and he went there to help Belle. Which means in a roaring battle, with tons of noise and just magic and clanging of metal all together, you would still be able to hear her as if she was right next to you giving you an order, if you remember her familia. Also, this skill is a lesser version of a similar skill that Finn has, proving that Lily is slowly stepping up as a commander who isn't as good as Finn, but she's getting there. Even her fauna, the blood of a god, recognizes that she's a leader. Our next skill is Virtus Burn. This skill belongs to Welf. It gives him 2 main abilities. 1, it helps his resistance to fire, and 2, it increases his fire magical damage. He ended up developing this skill after the expedition, after he made his indestructible magic sword, the one that can spew magic fire no matter what, and so he developed a skill that complements this new weapon he forged. It helps increase his magical output whenever he uses his indestructible magic sword. Plus, when it comes to just day-to-day work in the forge, the fire resistance also helps. Now, this doesn't mean all of his other magic swords of all other elements won't be as powerful as they are. He still has his Crozo blood. It's just that any fire sword he makes will just be that much stronger. Now, we're going to talk about two skills, but one doesn't exist. The skill that does not exist belongs to Mikoto, and this skill was a skill that does something, but it involves self-sacrifice. Obviously, I don't know the name, and I don't know what it does, and that's because Hestia refused to give it to Mikoto, for the simple fact that it encourages her to commit self-sacrifice. Now, Mikoto developed this skill because she has a tendency to do that. She heavily uses her own body over and over again as a price to save other people that she cares about. And Hestia didn't want Mikoto to go down that path even further. And what do I mean by this? Well, Mikoto has crushed herself with her own gravity twice. Once to pin down other adventurers, and two to try to pin down the Asafina. That time, she put every bit of magic power she had into it, because it was the Asafina, she was trying to kill it, which means she was breaking her own bones when she was doing this, trying to hold down the Asafina. And probably the most insane thing she ever did, besides breaking her own bones, was blowing herself up on purpose with an Aegis Facius, which is what happens when you accidentally lose control of your magic and you blow up. Now, she didn't do it by accident, she did it on purpose, turning herself into a suicide bomber. Yes, she went full kamikaze, because she couldn't defeat the Amazons who were holding Haruhime hostage, and all she could do was blow them all up with herself. She would have died at this moment if Otter didn't just happen to see this happen, and see great respect in her choice to do this, and honor her by giving her a potion. I'm not joking. Because she won Otter's respect is the only reason why she didn't kill herself. And so because she consistently self-sacrifices herself, this skill developed, which is why Hestia said nope and refused to give it to her. And the second and last skill is Mikazuka Hana. I don't speak Japanese, so I'm pretty sure I mispronounced that. But what this skill does is it gives Haruhime increased effectiveness of her magic and control of her mind. Effectiveness of her magic really doesn't matter because her only magic spell is the ability to give level boost, but the part about having better control over your mind is very useful for Haruhime, because mind is just what they call magic power in the Danmachi universe, and Haruhime burns through a lot of it very quickly with her level boost. In fact, she can only give 5 a day before she'll pass out completely, but after she got this skill, she was then able to give out level boost to 9 individuals during the war game, and she never passed out. So with this skill, she's now able to use just enough mind to activate her magic without wasting a little here and a little there. Because a little bit of waste does add up eventually. I mean, she went from 5 to 9 in a single day, so that's a pretty impressive increase. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe, give it a thumbs up so you enjoy more Danmachi anime things. Thank you and have a great day.